Well, today I'm making you a ricotta tart. And I'm starting with 2 eggs that I'm just beating into 3/4 of a cup of sugar in a pan that has no heat on it yet. And into that, I want to add some flour. And this is going to help this thicken. And while I'm doing that, I've got to stir another pot that I have to shut off now. So into the eggs and the sugar, you want to add, about 1/4 of a cup of unbleached flour. And now this you have to add gradually because you don't want any lumps to form in the filling or in the pudding. 2 cups of milk that I scalded, and I let it cool down a little bit because I don't want to add it hot to these raw eggs. Otherwise, I'm going to have scrambled eggs, and that won't look very nice on my tart. So then you want to put the heat on. After you get all that flour mixed in, get the heat on and add the milk. And here again, you want to add that gradually, so a little bit at a time. Whisk it in until it's smooth. And now this is a pudding that is going to have to cook with constant attention. This means that you will not be able to answer the phone. You're just going to have to stand here and whisk this until it's thick. And that's going to take, about, I would say, 5 to 7 minutes. And after a while, it'll look like this one. You see, here's one that I have already been cooking on the stove. And this has been cooking now, for about 5 minutes. And let me show you what I mean. When you can get it on the back of a spoon, you see, like that, it starts to coat the back of a spoon. Well, then you know that that's ready. And that looks just about ready, so I'm going to shut that one off. And now, after you do that, well, then you have to put a piece of buttered paper over the top because you don't want a crust to form over the top. And that can go in the refrigerator, and you want to let it cool down. And here's one that's already been cooled down, you see. That's been in the refrigerator for several hours. And sitting in the refrigerator, it even thickens up a little bit more. But this is only part of the filling for this tart. So I'm going to put this aside and show you what else goes into this. So with that, well, then you want to have some ricotta cheese. And that's a very big part of Italian cooking in both sweets and in fillings for pasta. So this is 2 cups of well-drained ricotta. I had this sitting in a colander over a bowl because I wanted all the excess water out of that. And then to that, you want about 1/2 cup of sugar. So sugar goes in. And then just 1 egg yolk. So that goes in. Then you want to give that a beat. You want to get that smooth. And then what you want to add is some fresh lemon zest. That's the grated rind of a lemon. And here I have about a tablespoon and a half. So in that goes. And you just want to fold that in to those ingredients. And now you can add the cooled pudding mixture to it. So I'm going to take mine, which is already cold now, and get this in, you see. And if you've done this correctly, the way I showed you, well, then you won't have any lumps in this. And the lemon in this gives us a wonderful flavor. And this is a wonderful filling for this particular tart. And this is going to get baked in the oven. So there, got rid of that. And now fold this in. And after you do that, well, then you want to make the tart shell. And now that starts with flour also. And here I've got 1.5 cups of unbleached flour. I'm going to put it right into the food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can do this by hand. And here, about 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch goes in. And then some sugar, about 1/2 of a cup. And now all I want to do is mix that up a little bit. I put my top on. There, that's all there is to that. That's going to take a little longer if you're doing it by hand. And then 1 stick of cold butter that I've got cut up into small pieces goes in. And again, I want to get that so that it's mealy or looks a little bit like oatmeal so that the butter gets really incorporated into the flour. And then I want to add an egg. I'm going to put it right through the feed tube. So an egg goes in. I'm using large eggs. And I want a little bit of vanilla in this. I'd say about a tablespoon. That looks like a tablespoon. And then you have to check this dough because you don't want it too soft. If it's too soft, it'd be a little hard to roll out. And I think that that is just about where I want it. So I think I have to take that out now and bring it over here. And now you could chill this dough if you wanted to. If you were making you could make the filling ahead of time. You could make the dough ahead of time. So here's my dough. And I'm going to take it out and put it onto a floured surface. So there, that's all of it. You get rid of this and get out some flour. So now with this dough, you could make, one large tart, or you could make 2 smaller tarts. And then you can just pull the top sheet off. You see how easy that is? You do it right, it'll never stick. And then take your tart pan, take your dough, and just lay it right over the pan. And then all you have to do is pull that top piece of wax paper off. And if you get a hole here or there, that's okay because it's very easy to patch. Believe me, I do it all the time. There's a little hole right there, but this dough is extremely forgiving. So then just get it in the shell so that you have enough to anchor it in there. And then you can just take your rolling pin and roll over the sides like that. You see how easy this is? And then take off the excess and just finish crimping or fixing the edge with your finger so it has a nice edge to it. And I think I need a little piece right there just to finish that off. There. Fix that little hole. No one's ever gonna know. There. How's that look? Pretty good, huh? Now we can put in the filling. So here's my filling, all cooled down, mixed, and ready to go. So this goes in, and look at how beautiful that is. It's absolutely wonderful and smooth, and I don't know if you can see the little flecks of lemon in there, but okay, now it's ready to go into a preheated 375-degree oven. And so we get a pot holder. Let's see, where are my pot holders? Here we go. I have so much stuff in this kitchen. All right, 375-degree oven. I want to put that in. And I want to let that bake, for about 35 to 45 minutes or until a knife inserted in the center comes out clean. And now I want to put something on this. And before I do that, I have to heat up my jam. So I want a little jam with this. Now, what am I going to put on this? Well, I've got my assortment of fresh fruits, and I need a nice dish. So, move this down so I don't mess that up. Isn't that beautiful? It's wonderful just the way it is. And now, of course, you can start with making this dessert. And now you can put just about anything you want. So there. Now, there's one little thing I have to do. And I got so excited I let my jelly go here. This is now apple jelly, which can really dress this up with a nice clear glaze. And if you didn't have apple jelly, well, you could use apricot, strain it after it was heated up. Or you could make a glaze just out of sugar and water and some cornstarch. So then you want to just paint these pieces of fruit because this is what's going to hold all these pieces in place. Oh, that fig looks just too delicious. I cannot wait to chomp down on those later. So there, I think you get the idea for that. And that goes in the refrigerator for later.